Hey, how's it going, people? And it is time to walk the walk. You have done the talk, now it's time to walk. Because actions always speak louder than words. It is Leeds versus Arsenal at Elland Road. It is Mikel Arteta versus Daniel Farke. It is, again, as I said, Leeds versus Arsenal. And obviously, after losing to United, not winning 3 games or 4 games in a row in Premier League, there are some questions. Fan base are genuinely on the edge of their seats, and they're not in a good way. There are some shaky moments starting to crack. Arsenal fans who were very confident are not so confident, let's just put it that way for lack of a better word. There are some questions being raised about Arteta, about the system, about the style, and about certain players as well. And that one of them is Odegaard, which I'm not going to talk about much, but when Odegaard came on against Kairat in Champions League, oh my goodness gracious, how awful that was. Today I'm reading that there is a bit of a friction potentially between Arteta and Odegaard, and potentially we could be selling him in the summer. It will be interesting to see how that develops, whether it's true or not. It's going to be very interesting to see. Obviously, you cannot believe anything or everything, basically, you hear on the internet. But at the same time, for example, me and many people I know have been saying for the longest time that Martin Odegaard is not captain material and he is not good enough for Arsenal. And it's starting to show, because comparing to when Eze plays in the 10, when Yeri has played in the 10, mind you, Havertz played in the 10 and Odegaard played in the 10, it is night and day. Especially in one game, we saw that. Havertz just come back from injury, plays one half in the 10 pretty much against Kairat Almaty. Second half, Odegaard plays in the 10 against Kairat Almaty, and it was night and day. It was like Odegaard had sucked all the energy out of the players, and I'm not gonna lie, I would not start him against Leeds, because against Leeds it's gonna be even worse, especially since the game is at Elland Road. And Mikel Arteta has come out in an interview and said that we want to be more direct, we want to be more proactive, we want to be more forward thinking. So it is time to talk, do the walk. You have done your talking. I don't care that you did that against Kairat Almaty. I want to see that in Premier League for 3, 4, 5, 6 games, maybe till the end of the season. I want us to see attacking patterns, open, expansive attacking football, movements, chances, shots, saves from the opposing goalkeeper, obviously. And maybe not relying so much on set pieces, not playing for set pieces on purpose. Because Bukayo Saka, for example, right now, about 70% of the time, just purposely kicks the ball off the player for a corner. Genuinely, he's a £300,000 a week corner merchant. Just plays for the corners. And he's not been the same. Odegaard is just shocking. So we'll see how that's gonna go. Will Arsenal, will Arteta finally do the walk? Will he finally, will the players finally do the things and be attacking, more proactive? And I don't mean for 10-15 minutes like we tend to do it. I want to see it for about 70 to 80% of the game. Because seeing that for 10-15 minutes and going back to the snorefest of sideways and backwards and sleeping and recycling and controlling and obsession with the control and all this stuff, I want it gone. I want to see Arsenal actually attacking, because on paper, this team is made for attacking. You can see that on paper, the attack and everything. We should be scoring goals for fun with our eyes closed, and we obviously barely do that. We barely score goals from open play, and our attackers, I'm not gonna lie, as much as I don't agree a lot with pundits when they basically thrash Arsenal, because they mostly do that, Paul Scholes came out and said that if you look at the team of the season right now, there would be not a single Arsenal forward into the team of the season. And this arguably could be the worst team that wins the Premier League, just sheer due to that fact. And it's very hard to argue with him when player like Owen Goals, aka Own Goal, has almost the same amount of goals as Arsenal's top goal scorer in Premier League. When Arsenal barely can score goals from open play at times, and we mostly rely on set pieces. And if that doesn't work, well, we have own goals scoring against Wolves, United, and all these games. We have set pieces And if they don't work, well, we saw what happened. We saw against Nottingham Forest what happened. We have prime examples of what happens when Arsenal gets shut down completely. So I want to see change of tactics, change of style, change of system, proper attacking football. Talk is cheap. Give me some fruit, give me some crops, do the things you promised us to do, Mikel. It is time. But getting back to the game. Obviously, Arsenal haven't lost, by the way, to Leeds since 2003. Yeah, it's been 23 years, which sounds nuts when you think about it, but that has been the case. And Arsenal have won most of the games. The thing is, though, the last time we played against Leeds at Elland Road specifically, we are talking about Elland Road, we barely beat them 1-0. Remember that controversy about the potential penalty, VAR check for about 1,000 years, and all this stuff? Well, basically, that was that game. And it wasn't great. It wasn't pretty. It was goddamn ugly. We were lucky to get the win from that game. Very, very, very lucky. So my worry is that it could be something more of the same. Leeds at home this season have been quite fantastic. I'm not gonna lie. Because it's gonna be very, very interesting to see. Yes, Leeds are 16th in the table. 6 wins, 8 draws, 9 losses, -7 goal difference, and blah, 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 blah. Yes, Leeds' home record, I said it is amazing, right? At the same time, yes, they have in the 11 games they have played at home, they have 5 wins, 4 draws. So they get points 9 out of 11 times, which is a pretty darn good sighting for Leeds. And if you look at it, they beat Fulham 1-0. They drew against United. They beat Palace 4-1. They drew against Liverpool. They beat Chelsea. They barely lost, by the way, to Aston Villa 1-2. They beat West Ham. They lost to Spurs 1-2. They drew against Bournemouth. They drew against Newcastle, and they beat Everton. So looking at the 2 losses they have suffered this season at home, it's been 2-1. And the rest of the games have been draws or wins. So at home, they know how to play football. They know how to get the job done. They know how to be resilient. They're a very strong home side, right? Very, very, very strong home side. And even if you look at Leeds' record in recent times, right? They drew, they won. They lost to Newcastle 4-3 at St. James's. It was a very interesting game. And that has been, and I kid you not, that has been the first loss was January 7th, right? January 7th, so almost a month ago, well, 3 weeks ago. They lost to Newcastle 4-3, right? And that was their first loss since, and I kid you not, November 29th when they lost to Man City 3-2. No matter what game they play, it's very close. And since that Newcastle game, they have beaten Derby County in FA Cup. They've beaten Fulham 1-0. They've drawn against Everton. We talked about the draw against United, draw against Liverpool, and everything. They are a very, very resilient, very strong, and very, very competitive team. They play very aggressive attacking football. They press, they impress, they never digress, and they just compress and all this stuff, right? They're gonna be a massive challenge. I totally expect that. And if Arsenal wanna play this controlled possession style football we play most of the time, I genuinely believe we gonna get done over on counterattacks, because Leeds are a very, very good, strong counterattacking side with pace in their team. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he has been very solid for them. People were shocked that he went there. People were laughing that he went there. But he is one of their best goal scorers. And he's in a very decent form. It's going to be very interesting to see how Arsenal defenders deal with him. Aronson is on, feels like, form of his life. They have Nonto. They have very good forwards. They have very good midfielders, defenders as well. Goalkeeping is a bit of a but overall, they have a very, very strong and resilient side. They're going to play defensive and they're going to pick their chances on counters. And Arsenal need to be careful with that, because we tend to get caught out on counters quite a lot. We just don't concede as much sometimes on counters just because, well, we track back and players sometimes panic. They maybe don't have enough quality. But in Premier League against Leeds, I will not take them lightly. I like Leeds as a team. I hope they stay up, by the way. But I need a win tomorrow. I need a win tomorrow, and I need an emphatic win. I don't want to say thrashing like 4-5-0, but I need a solid, resilient 2-0, 3-0 win. I need I need to see what Mikel Arteta has promised us. I need to see that. And if we go with the starting 11, for me, it's obviously Raya, Timba, Saliba, Gabriel. If Calafiori is back, then Calafiori. If not, then Hincapié. But with Calafiori, we look much better in the attack. Yes, defensively we might be a bit more open, but we definitely have missed Calafiori. In the midfield, obviously, Rice, Zubimendi. I will not start Odegaard. I want Eze in the 10 or Kai Havertz in the 10, by the way. If Havertz is ready and fit to start, play him in that 10. See what happens. Genuinely. I don't want to see Odegaard near the pitch tomorrow. No kidding. Right wing Saka, left wing Trossard. I want Trossard on the left wing. And of course up top I want to see Victor Gyökeres because he has scored. He is doing his thing. It feels like he's picking up some bit of momentum. He has looked better in the last few games, even though he hasn't scored a lot, but the movements have been a bit better. But again, it's very rough for him. It's rough for every striker in Arsenal system. So yeah, the predicted 11 is that. I'm going for 2-1 Arsenal win. It's very weird. I want to see a solid result, but I think Arsenal, if they do it, they're going to win 3-4-1. I generally believe so. I think we're going to concede because our defense recently have been a bit shaky. They have been sometimes half asleep and they have conceded some stupid goals. Remember, we barely concede 2 goals a game. We had conceded 2 against Sunderland, we had conceded 2 against Villa, and we conceded 2 against somebody else. I know on top of my head I'm missing this. We conceded 3 against United, right? And we conceded just 2 against Kairat. The last few games we can conceded bare amount of goals, which is for me a sign that yes, defensively something is not clicking. Maybe we missed Calafiori actually. Maybe it was due to the left back issues, right? But overall, yeah, I think Arsenal are gonna win 2-1. It's gonna be rough, it's gonna be scrappy. Ellen Road will be rocking. The 12th man, the crowd is gonna be honest for the full 90. They love football there, they know their football there. Daniel Fark is doing a decent job, I'm not gonna lie. And it's gonna be physical. It's gonna be grinding. As long as we can avoid injuries, as long as we can avoid red cards, I think we should be fine. But the main question and the main statement still stands. It is time to do it. No excuses, no tracking back. Do it. Just do it. Like, genuinely, because Mikel Arteta has done his talking. He talks a lot. Talk is cheap. Back it up with actions, back it up with games. Because at the end of the day, winning fixes everything. There's only 4-point gap between us and City and Villa. And if something goes sour for us this weekend, it could get even worse. So yeah, that's my preview. Let me know what you think. Let me know your predicted lineup, predicted score. Like the video, subscribe, and see you guys tomorrow after the game. Peace.